What's up everyone, this is Dariusz Komarczyk, co-founder of MG Poland, JS Poland, AngularMaster.dev and WorkshopFest.dev. Welcome back to the JavaScript Master Podcast. Today we've got a special guest straight from Taipei, Taiwan, Director of Tech and Data at Alpha Camp, Product Manager, Blogger and Data Enthusiast, ladies and gentlemen, Karen Hsieh. Hi Karen, how are you?
Hi, I'm good and quite nervous. I'm so honored to be here on this podcast. I hope I'm the first non-engineer person who are on the podcast, right?
Exactly. Karen, for those who don't know you yet, please tell us about yourself and what you do.
I'm a product manager working on an online bootcamp and also an online course for data practitioners. I'm the product director of technology and data. So my responsibility is to facilitate the team collaboration with each other, since online education product is not just about content, but also the platform and the experience, even like online events, online learning environment, and also the offline offline meetup and events that facilitate people learning together and have questions, comparing notes with each other.
How do you foster collaboration and innovation within your team, especially between PMs and engineers?
At the beginning, as a product manager, we will thought ourselves should be facilitate and prepare all the requirements and ask other people, like engineers, to do things. So many product managers will think about we should learn how to code, so that's how we can communicate and assign tasks to engineers. But actually, that's not the case. Engineers are the expert of technology. And since we're doing a technology product, these are the risks we need to reduce. So first, I think we can invite engineers and, of course, other functions to contribute their professions. To invite them for the beginning, you need to respect their professions and you need to provide the problems. You need to let them know the context, like who are these users, what your context is, what your product for, why you're asking for these kind of things. And if you give the problems, everyone like to resolve the problem, right? That's the human nature, especially engineers. Engineers will provide their professions and they will tell us, especially like we may not imagine something new technology can do, or we may not know the detail of the technology that probably could be resolved in different ways. So if we give the problems and invite engineers to contribute their professions, respect them, and I think that would be a best solution for both of us. So we provide the value context and the engineers provide their professions.
How do you ensure that your product team feel empowered to solve problems creatively rather than just executing solutions?
At the beginning, if you will focus on execution, that's like the entry level of product manager or anyone else will want to do. But ever since you deliver the outputs, the things you promised you will do, actually, why you promise that? You want to resolve a problem. You want to have an impact to something. That's the outcome. And the problem, the way we try to resolve the problem, the delivery, is the solutions we feel that, that could be a best way to provide this impact. So the end, the things that we really care is the impact, right? The thing that we really care is the outcome. So after we deliver, we think we resolve the problem, then we need to go back to check. So that's why the data comes in, the user interviews comes in, that we want to know if when we deliver that, when we provide the output, do we really solve the problem? And if you say that at the beginning, you share the context, you share the problem to your team, and they all know why, and you agree on a solution, then after you deliver, you want to go back to check if you do solve the problem. And that's the way you will learn together. You will learn, your assumption is correct. Your estimation about the solution is really impact to this problem. And that's correct. So you can keep moving on. And then you also will feel like celebrate, you'll fulfill fulfillment that you do solve the problem together within the collaboration with your team from engineer and probably more other functions like designers. So if you do this at the beginning, share the context, and do this at the end to follow it and trace if you do resolve that problem, make that impact, that will also be a motivation for your team to reinforce this kind of collaboration and to do that again. And if not, if you don't solve that problem together, you deliver the value, you deliver the solution, but the problem is not resolved, then you know why. You know there's probably something wrong in your assumption. There's probably something wrong you think, why you think this solution can be helpful, but not. So you can go back to check the reasons, and you can investigate together. And that's another way that you can learn together and deliver again. So I would say if we can have a collaboration process at the beginning and also remind yourself to follow up the result, and that would reinforce all of these things.
Can you share an example of how Teresa Torres' continuous discovery habits have been integrated in your daily work routine?
I really learned a lot from Teresa, and she is the author of Continuous Discovery Habits. And the book is talk about continuous and the habits. So when we are a product manager and we say we'd like to resolve the problem, would like to bring the value to the users, how do we know about the users? And, things are changed, users' taste or different competitors, different kind of product or user experience keeps investing. So we cannot using our self-experience as a user, like something like we always like to say, put yourself in your customer's shoes. Like who who are the customers, what they are thinking, what are they thinking? So continuous is a way that ask ourselves to interact with the user in a weekly basis, at least weekly basis. You could do it in a quick user interview, and there's a way that you can reach out users and probably talk about like 10 or 20 minutes that you know the why behind the behavior. Though you can have a data to see like users' behavior as a log or something that how user enter your product, like a website or app, and what's the behavior, what kind of page or screen he did. See, but you don't know the reason behind that, and you don't know the job to be done, like the end goal, what the users want to do. So you must have this kind of interaction with end users, then you will know the why. So you can combine this data together. And it must be a habit because people change. So people have different ways to resolve things, and people may change their behavior from time to time. So a weekly habit is a way that you can follow up the changing, and you can discover many different kinds of users. Say if you put yourself as a customer's shoes, you are just one of the customers. You cannot know like people who are out of your imagination. Say, for example, when I'm doing a recipe product, I'm doing a recipe platform as a product manager, I could not imagine an end user like she has four refrigerators in her house, and there are only 6 people in her house. Like, I could not imagine that, but that's how she lived. That's why she need our recipe app to produce different kind of the recipes that she never cooked before for her family. So keep this kind of habit is a way to explore ourselves and open our mind, open our eyes with different kind of user. And that's why you will have a sense about the users, and that's why you can understand more and provide different kind of solutions for your users. And you will probably know you will be actually more respectful for many things that you don't know. And so you will be more inspired to invite more people to collaborate these kind of ideas for your product. Say, for example, in the user interviews and interact with these users, although product manager is always the voice of the users, but you could sometimes invite your engineers to these kind of user interview, because the engineer is the people who really like to resolve people's problem. So when the engineers see how the real user using the product, and the engineer's eye is looking at, is there any bug? Like why this user use this feature in that way, or what's the environment? For example, like what's the legacy smartphone or a Windows computers. So the engineer will notice different things from a product manager. And sometimes you can invite designers to the user interviews, and the designer will focus on the user experience, the patterns in the user's behavior. So different eyes to look into these users and will provide more different kind of perspective. And that's also a learning about the user. So continuous discovery is a way that continuously learning from the users and from more different kind of users and in a different kind of perspective. And that's a way that you can help more users and be reachable in your product.
What strategies do you employ to maintain effective communication and alignment with outsourced engineering teams?
In my current company, I'm in an online education product. So this kind of product, the most important thing is not about the technical environment that we provide for the users, but actually the whole experience. So the whole experience is about the content and the way they learn that. For example, they learn through video or text, or they would be assessed by assignments or just an easy quiz. So we have all these kind of things, and also a experience that we provide in the community. Say, for example, do they have opportunity to ask questions about something to assistant, the teaching assistant, or to their peers? Do they have any opportunity to learn with their students, with their peers, or learning with people who advance from them? So that being said, technology may not be the most important things, but that's the basic things we want to provide. So we do have a engineer team, but they are outsourcing because we don't want to put the most resourceable things on the technical part, because that's not our core of our product. But for the engineer, I would say still doing the same attitude, respect them, share with them about the context, the users, not just assign them the task and telling them, oh, you should do the feature one and what's the feature requirement A, B, C, D, E. And they don't know what they're doing for. Like they don't know if their delivery can really resolve the problem. So that is still the same. I would like to provide the context, why I'm asking them to do this, and what's about the product, what's the impact after these feature. But this kind of thing, because that's a outsourcing process, so it will take longer, definitely. I need to prepare more and let them understand more, because they are not involved in our day-to-day communication. So I need to prepare more documentation and let them understand the context. And I need to explain them and share more things for them. And we can only meet in a weekly basis, but we need to have a async communication so they can raise any question when they are developing things, because we don't want to block them and waiting for our information, right? So we need to respond to every question they raise quickly, and we can have a sync communication weekly. But that will still make this process longer and slower. So the time management is also important, and give them the time and space to understand the context, and then so they can do their job well. And they also very like to resolve the problem. So when I say something, I would like to raise the feature. Say, for example, I would say, oh, we want to provide this kind of value. And I would say, I assume if we have this change, probably would be better. And what do you think? So they may raise their opinions and they may provide better solutions. That's what I want to have this kind of collaboration with the engineers.
In your experience, what are the key benefits of having a product coach for PM like yourself?
I'm very fortunate to have and know Marty Cargan in 2019, that because he came to Taiwan for a conference to introduce his new book. I would say that's really like an eye-opening thing. So I have a lot of problem about how to collaborate with engineer. Like, do I really need to provide them the context, or I should just provide them minimum information so they can do their job quickly? So I have a lot of doubt and there's no guidance. And I will feel a product coach is a really good guidance that I can ask any questions. And maybe he or she may not have every answer, but in his or her experience, would share like how he think about this kind of problem. And there's a lot of reference information that I can check with. So from Marty, he introduced like his idea about inspire and empower. And that's really a Bible for me. And he also introduced Teresa, like a very good product coach, has a lot of framework and practical methodology that I know how to do it. And also, I have a lot of, from them, I learned a lot about their writing, the articles or the books or other authors. So that's really opened my mind. And also in the community, like there's a lot of product managers following Marty and Teresa. So I have peers that I can compare notes, I can ask questions, and people are very willing to help each others. So I would say a product coach is a coach, like he or she will coach you. They may not provide the answer that you could take that instantly, but you will understand the methodology, the concept, the mindset behind that, and then would question yourself to think about more. And then you also have some reference to do your work. So I would say that's really a very valuable thing for every PM in every stage.
Can you share a specific problem that drove you delve deeper into data analytics and how you resolve it?
The journey beginning to entry data is actually when I'm dealing with a product and I need to figure out the revenue stream. So I do it for advertising. We're doing the programmatic advertising. So there's a lot of AD placement on the website, which means I need to compare different kind of numbers, like, for example, the placement or different size or different type, that audio, video, image. And we need to also connect with different AD network so we can compare their revenue from each other. So we can select the best one to keep it on our website and app. So that's a lot of data. And I only know to do all these data analysis on a spreadsheet. And I need to do it like day-to-day work. So probably about 1 month or something, I can't remember. But my spreadsheet became a very, very big spreadsheet, and it feels like took forever to open it. So every time I click it and I would go to grab a cup of coffee and then come back, still loading. And then I can have some time to do other things and then come back again. So I think that should be a better way. And I'm trying to figure out what's the better way. I try different kind of things. One direction is I thought I should be more Excel. I should be more excellent on Excel. Excel on the Excel, So, and I do think about like app script. Would that be helpful or something? But at the end, like my CTO, and he's very passionate about new technology. So again, we prove that these things prove the technology is really be visible, and the engineers would know about the technology better than a product manager again. So he introduced GPT to me. So DBT is a data build tool doing the transfer things. So I can, using DBT, and I only need to learn a little bit about SQL, and you resolve my problem. So my problem is I want to open the Excel and I want to analyze the data. But I never thought about there's another way I can do it without Excel. So again, the engineer provide a new solutions for me. So I'll doing it on a SQL using DBT and BigQuery. And of course, he also assigned a data engineer helping me to do this. And the data engineers load all these data into BigQuery so I can do all the transfer things. It's like open a new world for me. So I know because I am the one like who are looking at this kind of data, and I'm the one know what's the business logic that we want to compare, and we like to try and see what's the difference in the data. So if I at the beginning I do pair with the data engineer and trying to log the data, or I'll tell him what kind of formula I want to calculate the numbers. But because the engineers doesn't have the domain knowledge, so he will follow the instruction I give. He will follow the formula, but the number sounds weird to me. And the reason is I didn't provide the formula correctly because I only have one shot. Like I tell him one time and he will do the calculate and go back. I can check the number and then I would modify the formula again. Then he will go back. So this is a very waste of time. And he also feel like he is a calculator for me and doesn't provide any value. So I feel in the data analysis field, we need someone both have the domain knowledge and also a little knowledge about data. So DBT is a really great way for me to, I can, go back and forth in my mind and I can just test these formula and how I want to see and analyze data by myself. I don't waste the engineer's time and I can do more iteration in my own computers that's faster, and I can provide the result I have to the stakeholders, my CTO, so he can understand this data and in a chart or a report way, and everyone else can also view this kind of report. So it's really a great way for a product manager like me that want to analyze this data and provide the report analysis. And I know the reason that why I want to see this data in this way. And I also have the facts, the data, the report that I can pursue my opinion to others. So this is my beginning about data. And I feel that's a good way for a product manager since we all want to know the users and know the product better. And we actually looking for two kinds of data. One is something I mentioned earlier, a user interview. That's a quality data. It will tell us why behind the behavior. But we also need to overview and monitor the user's behavior and the product analysis things. So we do need to understand the data behind all these kind of logs. But the way that how we, data are just numbers. If you don't know, you can actually manipulate the numbers and provide the result you want to have. But if you understand like how this report being generated and how these numbers, the ratio of like, say, for example, active users, like why the active users are active and why the DAU, like daily active user, is calculated, you would understand your product more and clearly. So these actually are kind of facts that would impact to how you think about the problem. So that will also impact how you provide the solutions. So that's a really good eye-opening for me. And I'm really happy I picked up this kind of skill and knowing so I have the ability to know my product and users better.
How has your approach to data analytics evolved since you started working more closely with data engineers?
I can only do the SQL, the transferring things. So I really heavily depending on the data engineers. helping me to set up all these data pipeline. So in the data pipeline, we need to extract the data from our production server and sometimes from some third-party solution. Say, for example, we extract data from GA4 or we extract data from advertising backend, something like that. And we want to merge all these kind of data together so we can have a holistic view and a different kind of analysis. So I heavily rely on data engineers helping me to do so. And they will extract the data and making sure the data update like instantly or 3 times a day or weekly. So they will making sure the data quality is good, the freshness is good, and they will ensure if I want to have new data source, they can help on that. And then they will facilitate me to doing, they will set up the environment in BigQuery, in GitHub. At the beginning, I really had a hard time to use GitHub. Like every time I need to merge, I would turn my head to the engineer and say, so what's next? What should I do? And it would help me to do so. And I really don't know how to, say, for example, I need to do some SQL code. So I have a IDE because I use VS Code because every engineer in my company using VS Code, but I don't really understand how to use it. So like every time I have Python version conflict, that's very basic thing, but I don't know how to resolve them. So all these data engineers, and they were like, even not data engineers, software engineers, they would like to help me to resolve these kind of things. And also they were using, they were keep introduce new technology to me. Like there's a lot of different kind of data extraction tool, or when we have something like after our analysis, we probably want to put our analysis back to the raw as another raw data. Say, for example, if we find out a part of a segment of users, they are more willing to buy something, then we probably want to send this kind of name list to our EDM system. So this kind of things, I would never know how to do it. But as data engineers, they know, or there's a new trend called like a reverse state ETL. So they will keep exploring me with the data industry and helping me to know different kind of new technology and new solutions that I can resolve my problem. So that's again another good example that as a non-technical product manager, I should collaborate more with the engineers so they can provide me new solutions and better technologies.
In what ways has learning about data transformation and tools like DBT impacted your role as a PM?
DBT helping me do the data transfer. As a product manager, I know the business logic behind how we want to see the data. So DBT is a good way that it actually put our business logic into code. And that would be more clear. Say, for example, when I'm talking about active user, there's something in my mind, right? And when my sales team member, and when he is talking about active user, he probably have a different definition from me. But if we only communicate with the name active user, we may think about we are talking about the same thing. But if we calculate the numbers, probably we will. If we calculate the number, and it will be very clear if our number is the same or not. If that's not the same, then that must be something wrong or something different in our calculation. The formula may be different, but we don't share the formula, right? But we can have the SQL code. So when I look into the SQL code, I know what my definition is. So I can explain to others. And of course, we can, though the salesperson may not see the SQL code, but he could understand like why I'm doing this. And if not, we can adjust the calculation together. Then we can look at the number until the number are the same. So that's a good way. And when it is a clear SQL code there, it means this kind of definition will last there, will keep in there. So when the salespeople go and comes another salespeople, you would understand what the active user means. And if I left and there's a new person coming, you will understand what the active user means. So this knowledge will keep in there, and everyone can look, not everyone, but when someone have questions, a person who understands SQL code can check in that. So I would say that's a good way to making sure that we have a same definition and how the definition comes up and how each report and metric comes up. And this kind of knowledge could be stored in the company. So that's a asset, that's a learning, like a knowledge in the companies. I think that's it's a different kind of fact for a product manager, that because we always communicate in a documentation or a meeting, but we like, if we have a fact things, for example, like the evidence from users' words, the words we have in the user interview, if we have the numbers and we know how these numbers calculate, so we have all these evidence and we can understand and prove our, more kind of like a proof or a foundation of our understanding for the users. So that will help us to be a better voice of the users and a better voice of the product.
During your journey to becoming a data practitioner, what were some of the key challenges you faced and how did you overcome them?
The beginning is like your data doesn't match mine. That's the most common challenges at the beginning. So, because we're talking about the same term, like active user, or another classical example is revenue. And when we're talking about the revenue, everyone thinking we are talking the same thing, right? But turns out the numbers are quite different. Finance revenue is very different from sales revenue. So if we can have the numbers come up and look into the numbers, so we can talk about the definition. So that's the first challenges. When I provide the report, the number, the metric that generate by me or through the whole ETL process, and the first conversation would always become, oh, your number doesn't match mine. And then I would say, can you give me your Excel? And then I will find out the formula in their Excel file. And you can see there's a lot of assumption and how they get the data source and how they calculate the numbers. Then you can talk. Then you can discuss why you get data from this source and why you calculate in this way. So that's how we collaborate. That we can we both know our calculation, our definition. Then we can discuss why you think in this way, why I think in this way. So we can have a collaboration and better understand both sides. Then we can adjust how we want to do it. So that's the first challenges. And sometimes it could be not quite peace because people was using these numbers for years. They would say, I'm doing this for years. Why you want to challenge me? And why you want me to change? So I would say like doing this kind of data things, you must have some kind of top manager support. And for this support, most of the time, it will come from some issues. There might be something wrong recently or some issue happened recently that caused these managers want to do some change. And your solutions to facilitate and knowing everyone's understanding about the data is a way to do the change. So you need to have the trend kickoff at the beginning, support you pacing the change, but you don't want to push it too aggressively. You want to, because all you think, all your data, you want to helping people to do better decisions. So you want to know like how people use data and why they using this way, and you need to have a attitude that you are supporting them we are working on the same problem. I want to help you to reduce your time doing with data, but spend more your time on decision making. So this kind of thing, this mindset and attitude, and also the support, that's the way I can overcome these challenges.
How has your curiosity in data influenced your career path and decision-making processes?
Maybe because I have these kind of challenges. So every time when I see a number, I will ask, oh, how you calculate these numbers? Or I will, someone have a conclusion about something, then I will ask, like, why do you conclude like that? What's your information? What's the data source you consider about? So probably because these kind of process I've seen, so I would like to align not just on the decision, I like to align on the thinking behind the decisions. And I think this really a good thing that sometimes something people don't say, it's not because they don't want to say, it's because they assume others know already. And so I will remind my colleagues often that we may have different assumptions and we want to call it out. We want to let people know, oh, I assume something, and then what's your assumption? And we can discuss openly. So then it would naturally helping us to come to the same conclusions. So that's probably a major impact when I know how to do data. And I always like to know the thinking behind the data.
In what ways has adopting a growth mindset and practicing gratitude impacted your professional and personal life?
I think that's because I need a lot of collaboration, actually. As a product manager, you could say like we are doing nothing, that we are not the one who write code. We are not the one who draw these beautiful UI. But what we like to do is we facilitate and we provide the direction and helping people contribute their professions together. So I'm very grateful that people like to work together with me. And I'm very grateful that people would contribute their professions. And really that's feel good that people have a good shared goal, that we all want to make the product better and we all want to helping people provide value for the customers. That's a really beautiful thing. And I enjoy working with people. When they do care about the customer, they do care about the product. And when people love what they're doing, and it's really feel great to work with these kind of people. And because we all care, so we would contribute and finding solutions together. And I feel it's a reinforcement. Like, for example, if you feel grateful for something, and I will call it out. I would say, it's really beautiful that you could ask this kind of question, and it's really good that you raise these kind of ideas, and it's really good that you say something about this. That's something I never thought about. And when you say so, people would do it more. So people would contribute more. And I think that's a very positive way and helping me during my even work or life in the communities.
Reflecting on your personal growth, how has building a brag book helped combat self-doubt and foster self-confidence?
Brag book is a really good technique I learned from a product coach. So again, product coach is really helpful for every kind of stage product managers. And brag book is something that when you feel good and you just record it. And so I have my brag book on motion. So say, for example, after our recording, I will probably put a brag book and say, oh, I did amazing recording with Derek. So that was something that I remember, helping myself to remember there's a small win, a milestone, a celebration for me. So it would reinforce my happiness at this moment. And actually, when I look back, say, for example, recently I'm doing it's a bit late, but I'm doing my review for last year. So in last year, I couldn't remember like for the past 12 months what things I do. So I would go to the brag book and see, oh, there's a lot of things I accomplished. There's a lot of celebration. And it could be just very small things, like I fix a bug, I have a good review from a customer, or I feel very grateful for someone saying something in a meeting. So that's always something that would helping yourself be more happier at that moment. And when you look back, you know what you accomplished, then you will feel more confident about yourself. And actually, people forget a lot of things. Like when I'm talking about, when I helping others, say, for example, doing their resume, and they need a lot of material to write on their resume, right? But if you start from blank paper, and you need to think about like, something I accomplished, what is that? The most important thing, what is that? But if you have a brag book, then you could remember the moments that not just the feeling about when you accomplish that, but also you remember what you have done before. That's a great asset. That's very good asset for yourself, that you know you could do this kind of thing. And when you feel down or when you feel frustrated, you could look back your brag book and see you have done a lot of amazing things. Then you will know, okay, I have done this kind of thing before. I could do it again. So that's a really good evidence, evidence for yourself that you know you have done this. It's a proof record. So you have you can pick up the confidence for yourself, and then you would know how you can do that again. So that's a really, really good habit. I always like to promote this kind of habit to everyone. Have a brag book. That's really very helpful for you.
What lesson did you learn from the Google DCLC 2024 summit that have influenced your approach to content creation and community building?
That's a really great trip that I can met with a lot of community leaders and content creators, especially like you. I have been inspired by many people's real life. Like Derek has a real life that you have these all amazing conference, podcasts, and you have this energy. And the real means that it's not just someone or some article you read about, someone accomplished a lot of things, but I really see the eye-blaming and feel the passion when people talking about, I have a podcast, I do things, I love these kind of things, or I have some kind of meetup and people talking things together. So I really feel that passion, and I love that. I want to have this kind of passion as well. And I can feel the problems, of course, some frustrations or some issues they want to overcome. So have all these mind-liking people together is really a healing journey for me to understand there's a lot of more things I can do, and there's a lot of vivid example there. So I think that's a great learning and most inspiring things for me.
How do you navigate the valleys of death in content creation as discussed during the summit?
So the valleys of death I think it's a really good chart that shows how a content creator would encounter during his creation journey. It's kind of like a journey that you want to go through, that you don't have a journey like you would go always up and everything positive. That's not life. Like you have up and down in your life. So content valley of journey, I think that's also the same thing. And you will know when you go down, when you have something wrong, and that's a inevitable experience you must have. But after that downside in the journey, then you would go up, because that's a time, a period that you need to go through, and it would help you rethink many things and prepare yourself to go to the next slide. So I think that's a great experience. And the funny thing is that even though people know this kind of journey, the ups and downs, and we cannot avoid them. We don't know how to avoid them. It will just come. It will just come to you someday that when you don't know. But since we already know, there will be up and down. So I would say it may prepare yourself a little bit that you will know, okay, it's come and I'm going down right now. But I will know, I can believe that after this downside, I will go up again. I would definitely go through all these downsides and then go up again. So you have this kind of confidence and you know what happened after that. I think that's a great learning for me. And so I'm not expecting the downside, but maybe I would be a little bit excited, not just frustrating when I have this kind of downside.
Can you elaborate the concept of do it for yourself and reach your community and how it has shaped your work?
I'm doing a DBT meetup in Taiwan. So sometimes I would feel I'm hosting this meetup, but I don't know, because I don't have the technical understanding a lot about DBT. So sometimes I don't understand totally what the speakers are talking about, or sometimes I don't have time to have conversations with all the audience because I might be busy doing the equipment and making sure the process going well, something like that. But I think this is a great reminder for me that I do all this volunteer and community work. Actually, the starting point is for myself. Like I have two other friends who host this meetup for us. We have a clear conversation before we start all this. We want to know what's our goal for doing this community. Do we want to have a lot of people using DBT, or do we want to promote DBT in Taiwan? But I think this is really, and I think this is a really good reminder that one of my friends as a host, that he reminded us that we need to do this for ourselves to resolve our problem. And if we can do so, and everyone comes here feel benefits when we are doing our helping ourselves, then we have this motivation, we have the energy to keep doing this. Then we can benefit others when we are doing this. So I feel this is a really great way, and doing this for myself can also benefit others is the central mindset for our community.
My last technical question. What role has AI and GPTs played in your creation?
I do write articles on Medium, and actually I took a lot of time writing because I'm not good on English writing and try to do a lot of practice. But ever since GPT comes out, I cannot write without it because I can just throw my raw materials like my sentence with like terrible grammar issue, with terrible spelling or unstructured things. But GPT would help me to making sure the structure well and remind me to do more interaction with the readers, and also, of course, will correct my grammar. So I think this is a really great way for me. And I even double down to have different kind of GPT apps. So I have a writing coach who will facilitate me how to write and what the direction or what the outline of the article. And I have an editor. The editor will check the editorial, is the structure correct, or do I have a call to action or a good introduction at the beginning and a good summary at the end. And I also have a marketing maven GPTs that he will a GPTs will helping me. You will actually write a marketing promotion sentence for me. So I'm really bad at marketing materials. but the GPT will write the linking post to promote my article and the Twitter post to promote my article. I don't have to do that. So GPTs is really helpful for that. And for things like, so besides writing, say, for example, I'm also doing a mentorship program. I'm helping a community doing a mentorship program, and we want to resolve a matching issue. So again, a lot of product manager, we know the rule, we know how we want to match people, but we don't know how to do the matching into a code. So that's, again, GPTs can help that. So I would tell GPTs the rule we want to have, and then it will translate to a Python code. And I only need to copy paste the code, and we can have accomplished our matching algorithm. So that's really amazing. And GPTs is really good to answer all the questions. So I can ask a lot of stupid questions and again and again and again. It's like more than like 10 times. And he would explain to me, and I can ask him like, explain me like in 5, or helping me to understand what is a little bit like the concept. And I think this is really helpful for a non-technical person that I can't even ask a question well, or I don't know what's the keyword about some technology, but GPTs can guess my thinking and try to answer a lot of different versions about the answer, so I can better understand the concept. So this is a really good way to bridge the gap and enable me to do more things without real people's help. Because people always have, like, we will always worry about, do I like bothering people too many times or asking too more questions? But GPTs don't have this kind of issue. And also, I think this is a really great way to practice the communication, because GPTs talk like a people. So I need to, when I say something misleading or unclear, then the GPTs would ask me more questions. So that will also facilitate me to prepare my question well to a level that I can ask real people.
What kind of person is Karen? How do you see yourself?
My husband always say I'm a real person, like not traditional woman in Taiwan. But I would say I'm kind of, I like to be transparent, and I like to ask questions when I have doubts or when I don't understand. I don't feel shame about asking questions. And I feel people are very open-minded and they are very supportive to answer my question. So I think that's the most difference from me. And I do observe that from other product manager or junior people. So I always encourage them, don't hide your question. It doesn't make you feel full. It's natural that you have questions you should raise and people know how to help you. So I would really encourage people to do that, ask questions. And nowadays, if you are hesitant to ask real people, you can ask GPTs.
Do you have some hints for us regarding self-organization?
I like to have routine. And I really like the seasonal change in the years. And so, for example, I would do more focused work at the morning because I'm a morning person. And I would do some routine things at the night because I'm already, out of my mind at night. So I like to observe what my energy is so I can put the things in. And I would have a routine, say, for example, in the morning, I would take a walk and focus on things that need to be concentrated. And then I would do some work and etc. And I am a very heavy Notion user. So I actually cannot remember anything. So I like to have the project and tasks, and not just for work, even for my life. I have a lot of projects and tasks, and I would open my tasks and then check what should I do today. And I will arrange this. And also I'm a heavy user about Google calendars. I really need calendar to remind me like what things I need to do or what meeting or tasks I need to be done in the timeline. So using calendar is a good way to organize my day and the things I want to do. So for example, when I'm really, really busy and I would block some time to concentrate to do something I really want to do, say, or I would block some time to make sure that I have time to work out. I have time to be with my parents. I have time with being with my husband or families. So this is all a good way to making sure you spend the quality time on the things you really care, and also to concentrate things when you want to concentrate. So every little habit that I want to set up, I would use calendar to remind myself, and also the Notion assign tasks to myself. So I would check both sides and organize everything. And also that's a good way to go back to check what things I have done. So a little different kind of book, but just a record that I would know the things I have done, or when I'm doing this, what kind of, when I'm doing this, what's the scenario? So this is also a good record. And I would also look into this kind of record and retrospective, say, I'm really bad at concentrating at night, so I know how to arrange my time. Or I cannot do like 3 times workout a week, so how can I change but keep the healthy habits in a practical way? So that's how I organize myself.
Do you have any favorite hobbies?
From last year, I started diving, and I really, really love it. It feels like get very close to the fish and the sea, and it's very quiet. You can only hear the waters. So that's a really good things, and I want to double down this year.
Your favorite book?
My favorite book is How Adam Smith Changed Your Life. So that's a book. The original book is a book that written by Adam Smith, the economic expert, but the original writing is in a very old English that I could not understand. So actually, I read in a Chinese version of it. It introduced a very interesting thinking, like we talk about, like in the community, I want to do the things that benefit myself, and in the way I could benefit others. So this is also the same concept in this book, that you could be motivating and doing things by benefiting yourself, but because everyone doing so, we are actually benefit others. So this is a really quite interesting thing, and for me, and I love this kind of concept. And in this book, he also told us to be a lovely person. Lovely means you want to be a person that could be loved, like someone could appreciate what you do, and someone would appreciate what the value you bring to the world. And you want to bring value to the world because yourself, like because you want to be contribute, you want to be grateful. But you doing this so that you could actually benefit the world and people will be grateful for you. So that's kind of tricky, but that's really a good, a good way if we all do these kind of things, and we can make the world better.
Karen, thank you for appearing on our podcast. It was a real pleasure talking to you. You provided a lot of interesting information that allowed us programmers to see the other side of the project. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, thank you. I'm so honored to be here. Hope I'm very helpful.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.